everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. As always, if you guys are not subscribed, please press that subscribe button below. Today I'm going to be making French dip sandwiches. I was like, why did I get wet? I wanted to go ahead and walk you guys through this recipe because this is something so easy and it's one of my favorites. Now, I did just now get home from work and this will be a crock pot recipe that I make all day tomorrow, but I do always like to get everything situated now. So of course, I'm going to be using my cute little crock pot that my grandma gave me when I moved out of my first house. It's nice little green. It's been in the family for a decade. I will be using my chuck roast, my onion recipe soup mix. I have one more, I need to get more. Put that on my grocery list. And I'm missing one other thing. I see. Also, I will be using these little beef bouillon cubes or whatever they're called. I do like to season my meat as well before I do anything. So we will be doing that. I got a little crock pot bowl out and I'm going to get this ready. So just open that up. That's a big thing of meat. And just put it in the bottom of your crock pot. The great thing about crock pots is that you can have this be cooking all day and not have to worry about it. You're going to take some of your olive oil and just pour it in on the bottom. And make sure to coat your steak as well. Now, I always use 2 of these cubes. They look like this and they're individually wrapped. And I think that is just the cutest thing ever. Funny story, when I was younger, my grandpa used to keep these in the house and they're like hard. And he once took them off of the counter area, like in the cabinet, and he was like, Joshy Lane, you want some candy? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, Grandpa. And I stuck this in my mouth and I ate it and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had. So, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these melted, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to season my steak. So while I'm waiting for the water to boil for these bouillon cubes, I'm just going to take my onion mix and I'm gonna pour it in with the steak. Now, if you guys are using like soup itself, then I recommend essentially like mixing the two together before you put your steak in. I like to mix all of my my dry ingredients in first and then put the wet ingredients in after. Just make sure you get all of that in there. Now this should be hot enough to dissolve the bouillon cube. Better be hot enough. And then we are just going to let that dissolve. I use 2 just because there is a lot of steak and you want to be able to fully coat everything. So once this is done dissolving, I'm going to show you the next step, and then from there we will put it in the fridge overnight because this is all you have to do for this portion. So the last amount of prep work that I'm going to do tonight is literally just pouring the beef broth into your steak mixture. I went ahead and I put that French onion dip on top. French onion dip. Soup. Alrighty, so I just got that in the fridge. Tomorrow in the morning, I will either leave a note for my fiance on our whiteboard to turn on the crock pot and get it started, or I will just do it in the morning depending on how I'm feeling. As long as it's cooked for 6 to 8 hours, you should be fine. But in all honesty, even cooking it longer than that will make it just a little bit more tender. So I will be back tomorrow in probably a completely different outfit to show you what the next steps are, and I will see you then. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is we're gonna check on the meat. I obviously can't show you guys because the steam will be insane, but I can tell you when I walked in the door today after work, I was like, beautiful. So I had to go stop at the store and get some more little au jus sauce. So I'll essentially read you guys how to do that. The meat looks pretty good. I'm just gonna give it a stir. It should be really easy to separate and shred at this point. So I have my little bowl here. I'm just going to grab the meat out of there and then we'll shred it. It's definitely very easy to be shredded, and that's exactly what we wanted. Well, since it's the next day, I hope everybody's day is going well. Of course, I feel like this has been a 2-day thing, and it kind of has. So, I mean, but anyways, comment below how your Tuesday went, or your Monday. I mean, whenever you're watching this, I'd love to have some feedback from you guys. So this is what the meat looks like. Looks so good. Now what I always do is I set this aside for it to cool off. My crock pot is really old and it holds a lot of heat. So I just kind of leave it out for a couple of days, to be so honest with you, until I'm ready to actually clean it. So you're going to want to essentially tear apart everything. Make sure it's all taken care of. At the store today, I went down the tea aisle because I'm an actual tea addict. And I got some new tea, so I'm going to be trying that. Have you guys tried anything new lately? My dog is getting excited. So after you shred all of your steak, you're going to go ahead and get out those Hoagie rolls that you had gotten earlier or the night before, depending on how you do your bread. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my bread knife. One of these are really cool to have just hanging out. So with the rolls, you can normally see where it's supposed to crease. I don't know if you guys can see that. And that's just where I cut mine. I don't cut it all the way open, just a little bit, so I can open it up and get the meat in there. So you make a little opening for the sandwich rolls. And then you just shove them in there. After this, you should set your oven to 350 or to broil, depending on how you like to cook everything. I like to slowly heat up all of my cheese. So this is what it'll look like. And then you'll put some provolone cheese on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that on my end, and I will see you guys back here once I'm done. Okay, so I'm just putting the final touches on my little French dips. Provolone is one of my favorite cheeses. It never fails to amaze me. So this is what your sandwiches should look like. Just have some cheese on top. You're gonna put those in your oven. You're gonna watch the cheese melt. Now everybody's oven is different. I normally check on it like every few minutes, and then I broil it once I'm done. And then I have my water boiling for my au jus. So while that is cooking, I am going to make my au jus. It's just this little dipping stuff. Pretty much it's just like pouring this packet in some water. And then normally what I make with this is I'll either make some handmade mashed potatoes, or I will make little broccoli pasta, which is just like pasta with cheese and broccoli. I use a lot of these when I can. These come in handy so often. This one is the cheddar broccoli one that I'll probably make. It has little pasta in it, and it's really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done, and then I will be back with the finished product. Alrighty guys, I have the finished product here. If you guys try this recipe, I would love to have your guys' feedback. So good. I'm gonna go ahead and eat dinner. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!